As an instructor, you can choose to administer all of your quizzes and tests right in your Moodle shell. That way, a couple of different benefits to it. You're not taking up class time to actually have the students take the quiz. They can do it on their own time. Plus, if they take a quiz through here, if it's true, false, multiple choice, as soon as they submit it, they get their answer, the grade in the grade book. If there are fill-in-the-blank questions, as soon as you grade them and submit their answer, then they'll get their email with the answer, and they're with their grade, and they don't have to wait until the next class period to get it. Some people would rather give them in person. Some people prefer to do it through the Moodle shell. So if you'd like to do it this way, I'm going to show you how to add a quiz and how to work with that. First of all, we have editing turned on over here, and I'm going to go ahead and add it in week 1. So again, I add an activity, I find quiz, and then I click add. The first thing we'll do is give it a name. Then if you'd like to, you can give a description. It's not like an assignment where you write in here what it is, but you could give it a description if you'd like. Now the quiz setup is a little different than assignments. Timing, when I click on that, I can have the open date and the close date. This means that before this day, if I turn this on, they wouldn't be able to access the quiz. So you may want to have that turned on so they can't get in early to try and take it ahead of time. The close date is the day that this is the final day for them to be able to take this quiz. And after that, the quiz is closed and they can't get in any longer. Time limit. You could leave it open to where there is no time limit on it, or if you enable this, you can change this to minutes, 35 minutes. You can change it to days, weeks, hours, however you want to do that. So you can either have that on or off. When time expires, there's a couple different options. They have it set here that attempts are submitted automatically. So that means I'm in the middle of the last question and I'm taking it right at the very end and the time runs out. It just submits what I have. I haven't finished it, but it submits what's there. The other option is I can allow a grace period, but no more questions can be answered, so I can finish my question, or they have to be submitted or they're not even counted. So that's up to you. The grade for a quiz, this tab is different. One of the differences that's here between this and an assignment. In here you're not putting in how much the quiz is worth. We'll do that in another section. Right now the main thing in here is the category. And again, I haven't set up the gradebook with categories, so we'll put this in its own category later on. But for now, there is no option for that. Layout. I can do a new page every question, or every 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth questions. What that means is, when a student takes a quiz, question 1 pops up. They answer it, they submit it, they go on to question 2, and that pops up. If I have every 3 questions, then the first 3 questions would be on the page, and they do all those, and then go to the next page. So it's just how it looks. Question behavior. Shuffle within questions. That means if this is a multiple choice test, question 1 comes up for the first person and they're A, B, C, and D. For the next person that comes up, they're not going to be in that same order. They're the same 4 answers, but they're flipped around in some random order. That way, I couldn't take the test as a student and say number 1 is A, number 2 is B, and so forth. Review options. These are the things that the students are able to do during the test, immediately following the test for about 2 minutes, later while it's still open for other students to still be in there, and then after it's closed. Now one thing, in all of these, in here you see these question marks, all the way through these different assignments and the quizzes and all that stuff, they have question marks. If I click on this, it tells me what they mean by during the attempt, immediately after, later, and so forth. So to find out what they mean by those so you can decide how you'd like it to be, there's the same thing here with the attempt. What do they mean by the attempt? If I click on that, then it gives me that answer. What do they mean by specific feedback and so forth? Use these question marks as you're working through here. You can leave it as is, or you can choose to click other options or uncheck options depending on how you'd like it to be. So now we have those things set. Here's some other ones that you can look at down the road. They're not as used as some of the main ones that I've shown you. When I'm all done, then I will click and return to course, or save and display. I'm going to save and display for this one because I want you to see what happens. For a quiz, remember, all we've done so far is set up when it's open, when it closes, and that kind of thing. But like it says here, no questions have been added yet. In the next video, we're going to look at how to work with a question bank and how to set a quiz up so that you can actually add the questions to it, and then that's where you'll determine how many points it's worth and those kinds of things. But for now, I'm just going to go back to the course and show you that under week 1 is where the quiz is at, and that's where the students would then click on it to see it. Now that we have a couple things in here, you'll see as long as the editing is on, you have these crosshairs. As I add things, I can decide I'd rather have the quiz as the first thing and then this assignment as the second thing as you get more in here. And actually you could even move between sections if you want to. But I'm going to put the assignment back here on top. And one other thing, if you have the week set up and you decide you'd really rather do something, you'd rather do this week first, if I take those crosshairs and move it up, it adjusts them, and notice how it changed the date. So this now still is the first week, but all this information is moved into the second week. I'll move it back so you can see that change again. So that way you can rearrange the weeks even within there. In the next video, we'll look at how to add questions to the quiz once you do have it set up.